And we are live, Rick. Guys, coming at you from the studios of Is Your Six Covered. Thanks for joining in. Glad we could bring this to you today. We were kind of last minute. We were having some webcam issues, but I think you guys will like the segment. As you guys can see, we have the Accuracy International here, the one that I normally shoot, the AX, and then we have the new, not yet released ATX. Big shout out to everyone that has joined the channel here, and we'll talk about basically the origins of Accuracy International, what it kind of means to me, because you guys know I've been shooting it for quite a while. Yes, if you're new to the channel, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. And I guess we will get started. So, Rick, what is your experience with Accuracy International? When's the first time you ever heard of them? Anything like that?
First time I ever heard of them was about three and a half years ago. We actually went out to Clinton House, and I actually shot yours, and it was an amazing rifle.
Okay. So, guys, for me, Accuracy International has always held this pinnacle of accuracy and all of that in my mind, you know, because I had always seen them. For over 3 decades, they've been providing law enforcement, military, especially military, with sniper rifles. Accuracy International says world's finest sniper rifles, and that is the case. It really is. If you've never had an opportunity to shoot one, there is an aura about them. They have a lot of really unique features, and they are some of the best sniper rifles in the world, if not the best. With that being said, we have this over here that doesn't look like a sniper rifle, and I want to talk a little bit about the heritage and everything else. So, you know, Accuracy International was never into the competition scene. Now, its heritage came from that. There were actually 2-3 owners. There were 2 owners, but there was one that was the face of Accuracy International. He became the face of Accuracy International. He was actually an Olympic medalist. Oh. And so, you know, this was in England, guys. The Accuracy International was birthed in England, and they won their first military contract. I think it was in the 70s or so, and just long-standing history of sniper rifles. But growing up shooting military and law enforcement sniper competitions, I'd always seen them. I knew I couldn't afford one, and I was just like, maybe one day, maybe one day. But as we get older, we realize, I guess, what we want, right, Rick?
We know what we want. We figure out a way to get it.
Yeah, exactly. We make sacrifices here to get something here. So, guys, when I first started doing long-distance shooting, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. No one was shooting rifles like this. The game has changed tremendously. It's not what it used to be. And I will get on to the ATX. We'll show you some close-ups. I'll explain everything about it. And Rick, if you want to maybe kind of keep an eye on the comments so I don't miss anything.
Okay,
they're saying
they're
we're really
going quick.
Yeah, they're saying that the lighting's really it is really bright, but that's okay. We want to be able to
and that's
let you guys see the rifles.
Continue on, and I'll get it all tuned up.
Because I don't want this chat to get shut down because of the firearms. We've already had that happen a time or two. So back to what I was saying, back in those days, all we had were Remington 700s. You had M40s by the Marine Corps. You had the M24s. It changed. To shoot 1,000 yards was something that was really, really an accomplishment back then. Everyone used data log books. There were no Kestrels. And I will say, you know, the bullets have changed quite a bit as well. It was a lot harder to do those distances unless you were just messing around, okay? But it's not like it is today, guys. It's a lot easier. You go out and buy a $700 Kestrel. Next thing you know, you feed a little bit of data in there, and you're in business. So if you're new to the channel, my background, I grew up doing a lot of LE Mill sniper competitions. Just really quickly, just kind of vetting myself here for you guys. In 2014, I did win the Snipers on, or actually, that was let's see, 2014 would have been the Gastonia Sniper Conference, which was one of the largest sniper matches around. You'll have a lot of military teams there. You'll have Delta, you'll have 3rd Group, 5th Group, you'll have Canadian Special Forces. And myself and my partner actually won that entire event. We had 3 really, really good days. Not saying I'm better than those guys at all. Don't misconstrue that. We just had 3 really good days of shooting. But back in those days, everything was blind, okay? No one was shooting PRS. Or it was something that was unheard of. And then in 2015, we won Guilford Sniper Comp, and then this kind of started us on this venture into long-range shooting. Kestrels were just coming out. I think the first Kestrel I purchased was in about 2015, and it made the game a lot easier. Imagine going to your PRS match today with not having a Kestrel, not being able to get real-time environmentals, and just trying to do it off of your sniper data logbook. It has changed a lot. So 2018, I won the Unknown Sniper competition that they had down in South Carolina. So that's my background, doing ruck matches, doing LE mill sniper matches, things that weren't open to the civilian population. You're starting to see that change now. PRS started coming on strong. All the manufacturers started making these really, really nice rifles and making things possible that we didn't have back there.
Well, this sport has just gone through some changes, super crazy.
It really is.
Yeah. The people are just flocking to it and having a great time with it. So.
Yeah. So guys, what you're looking at here, I've been competing with this rifle for quite a while. I actually took that when Rick and I shot the Hornady PRC last year, which a lot of people said is one of the hardest PRS matches to shoot to date. It was extremely difficult. A lot of pro shooters were, had big misses because the wind and conditions were just horrid out there. But I took this out there, and this is a military grade sniper rifle, and it will do the job, but you can't expect this to do what that is capable of. And the reason is, I remember back in the day where if you had a 13-pound rifle, that was pretty heavy. And then everybody started going lighter. And then now if you show up to a PRS match with a 13-pound rifle, you're going to probably get laughed out of there or probably not do well. It is a different game. Guys are showing up now with 25, 26-pound rifles. Some guys even shooting 30-pound rifles. I know there's a guy on the Rimfire series that shoots almost a 30-pound 22 long rifle.
Yeah. Well, this is for the guys that are running out there doing what they need to do. And
correct. And it's a different game. When you're doing stalks and you're doing things like that, this right here is meant not to go down on you. It's and I'm going to be careful when I say this. A lot of people, when you say the word military grade, they think the cheapest, lowest bidder. Guys, that's not the case. When you get into special operations, these tier 1 units, it is not the cheapest bidder. And this is not the cheapest rifle out there. The price point of these have always been extremely high. I mean, you're looking just buying a base rifle. Those used to be $6,000 to $8,000. Okay. So the price point itself kind of kept a lot of people away from it, but they're all accurate. Every single one of them. I've never had a bad Accuracy International that, just wouldn't shoot groups. They just shoot incredible groups. And
go ahead. You can change the barrel out in a minute, maybe even less than, if you've done it quite a few times. That just blows me away every time you do it.
Yeah. So
you put that on and you're instantly ready to go. It's one of the coolest things I've seen.
Yeah. And guys, we're going to get into really big detail on this. This isn't going to be a 30-minute live chat. This is going to let you know everything you need to know about that ATX, but we're going to work into it because I do want you to understand the history. Can you shoot a match with this AX? Well, of course you can. Okay. I shot it. I actually didn't do too well. I wanted to be in the 50th percentile or higher for the first time ever shooting a PRS, and I was able to achieve that with this rifle. But the rifle actually ran flawlessly for me, even with all the sand and grit.
Dust.
Now, your Tika actually went down during that match. All your mags, they wouldn't function.
No, there was what we called moon dust at the time. It was basically a very fine powder that got everywhere and anywhere. And they went down. That rifle went down.
Yeah.
Due to the mag issues.
So what he's talking about are some of these magazine issues. And guys, so if you are a precision rifle shooter, you probably know what an AICS magazine is. Okay. Well, where did the name come from? Accuracy International Chassis System. Okay. So the AICS mags were a single feet. Okay. This is not. This is the AW mag, or what they call the Arctic Warfare mag, and you guys will see that it's a double stack and double stack on top, very similar to your AR-15 style carbine or something like that. So this does not use an AICS magazine. It uses this magazine. These are 10 rounders, and the new ATX also uses the AW magazine as well. Okay, so getting back to this and that competition, this thing ran really, really well, but you'll also notice this height over bore right in here, guys, if you can see the finger. You can also notice this Arca Swiss rail. That didn't come with it, and it's angled. Well, the problem with that is from Area 419. Big shout out to Craig and John. Those guys at Area 419 have really, really taken care of me. But I actually got that before I went to the match, because if you're going to shoot a PRS match nowadays, you pretty much have to have an Arca Swiss rail, right? I'm not gonna say you have to, but
if you want to make life easier,
yeah,
and be able to do a lot of other functions and get the bipod really close if you need to shoot off a barrel. Or,
yep. Now, guys, I can't touch these rifles, but on YouTube, live streaming, they don't allow it. The minute I touch that rifle, they're going to shut the stream down. Trust me, Rick knows all about it. We were playing with a chassis last week, and they actually shut his chat down because of it. So we can't do any hands-on. What we'll do is we'll just turn the camera away. We'll manipulate it, get you guys up close. It's the only way we can kind of get around this. You'll also notice that this has a grip that cannot be changed out. This action is also bonded into this chassis. You cannot remove it unless you have it unbonded, okay? Now, Accuracy International, back in the day, they pretty much bonded everything. They started getting away from that a couple of years ago, and I think like the AXR and the AXSR, those are not bonded. So that's a bonded unit. The ATX is not. The ATX is a straight drop-in, just think like Remington 700. It's a chassis system, and they are going to offer services. So if I wanted to have this taken off and that chassis system put onto this rifle, I could do that. They will unbond it. So all you guys that might have systems that are bonded, they'll take care of you on that one. So this is true military grade, okay? That's just the way it is. It's a turnkey sniper solution. But when you get into PRS, long-range shooting, what you're going to want is something like, this might actually be a little reminiscent of an MDT chassis, like an ACC chassis. You've got a full Arca Swiss rail on the bottom of it. You'll also notice I have some weights on the side. So almost everyone's running some type of weights. Guys, this rifle will be out sometime around April or May is what they're shooting for. There are only two authorized, actually, there's only two dealers in North America for Accuracy International. That is going to be Euro Optic as well as Mile High Shooting. I deal with both of those companies, great guys to deal with. If you call Euro Optic, do me a favor, ask for Kyle. If you call Mile High Shooting, just ask for, do you remember his name?
And Mile High Shooting?
Yeah. Starts with a T.
Nope.
Troy.
Troy.
So ask for Troy, guys. Those guys are super helpful, and they'll help you every step of the way. So if you want to, you can go ahead and pre-order one. They put them. They're doing a deposit of $500, but what you're going to be surprised of is the price point. So the price point on the ATX is going to be $49.90, and you might say, "Whoa, holy crud, $5,000!" I know there's a lot of you on this channel that actually watch this that have custom rifles built up, and by the time you do a Bartland barrel, whatever barrel you choose to go with, by the time you do a custom action, custom chassis, you're going to be pretty darn close to that right off the bat. Okay. And maybe that's what you're looking for is a custom action, but this is a right out of the box. Now, Team Accuracy International has already been shooting with this. I think 2 matches ago, they actually finished 1st, 2nd, and 5th in a very large PRS match. The Accuracy International shooting team actually helped develop this rifle. So it's one of those things. You can make this work and you can try to shoot matches with it and you'll do very, very well. But it's not designed to do PRS matches. So what they did is they did a clean slate on it. They got up with the Accuracy International shooting team and said, what do you want? What do you want to try to do with this? And so this started from the ground up with sketches, and big shout out to Accuracy International, Scott, the vice president of sales in North America. Actually, we had a long conversation. He knew I was big into Accuracy International, so they sent me for review, or sent me this rifle for review. We're actually going to do a lot of shooting with it. Those will be coming up over the next week or so, because when you purchase the rifle, the only available caliber right now is 6.5 Creedmoor. But the barrel system comes out very quickly. This is something that's not new to Accuracy International. With a 4mm hex, you can actually reach up there, about 2 turns on it, unscrew the barrel by hand, put a new barrel in, screw it in by hand, and tighten it up to about 42 inch-pounds. You are good to go, and it will repeat almost every single time. You can do a barrel change in about a minute. And you guys might say, well, 6.5 Creedmoor is so yesterday. We're not shooting that anymore. Well, Proof and a bunch of other companies are already doing Accuracy International pre-fits. The barrel in that rifle will go straight into this rifle and vice versa. The only difference is if you're using something like a long action with, there's 2 size tenons or threads, if you will. You have an M27 and an M30, which is a little longer or larger. All of these use M27s. So with that being said, let me grab something very quickly. This was a one-off barrel by Proof, and big shout out to the guys at Proof for sending this out to me. This is a 6-dasher barrel. This is equipped on the end with a Maverick, an Area 419 Maverick flash hider or a muzzle brake / suppressor. So that will eventually go into this one day for testing for the video. But I also have a lot of 6 Creedmoor barrels. Big shout out to Proof again. They sent me a couple barrels this week, and this is a brand new. Haven't even opened it. Look at that carbon fiber goodness. So this is one of the carbon fiber barrels. So I could, if I wanted to shed some weight off of the ATX, I could drop this in here and shave some weight. The ATX is going to come in at 13 pounds. That's the base weight, 13 pounds. It does come with a competition trigger. With
a nice trigger.
Yeah, Gagabyte says Ray is 6mm converted, and yes, I am. I really like it. That's a broomstick handle. Yeah, so I mean, the thing is I've seen where it's come from. Now, think about it. Military cartridges, you're not messing with a little tiny 6-dasher or a GT or anything like that. That's a different game, guys. You're still shooting those crazy long distances, but you're not shooting higher recoiling cartridges. You know, back in the day, 308 was the way to go. And if you didn't shoot a 308, you shot a 300 Win Mag. Well, trying to shoot a 300 Win Mag in a PRS competition is not the right caliber. Can it do it? It absolutely can, but your recovery shot, your recovery time, and your follow-up shots, and if you should miss, you might or might not be able to spot the miss because you're going to still be recovering off of the rifle more than likely. Now, of course, you could throw a break on it and whatnot. So the game's changed. It's changed tremendously. So that's one of the best things about the AIs, among a bunch of other things that I'll go over, is number one, you have the quick lock system, okay? Barrel change in less than a minute. So if you're shooting these barrel burner cartridges or you're pushing your 6 Creedmoor, you know, to god-awful speeds at 3,200 feet per second, and you burn one out in 1,000 rounds, you're not having to send the rifle off to your gunsmith, have it all rebarreled. As long as you got an AI pre-fit, boom, throw it in there, check your zero, you're good to go. That's a big benefit.
That's one of the largest benefits to it is this PRS game. It's gone from basically 6.5 Creedmoor back in the day was like the magic cure-all, fix-all, best cartridge ever.
Because it was significantly better than 308.
The recoil. And then, this shot better because, well, we're at the 6 Creedmoor because the recoil was less. You can spot your shots, like you said. And, you know, there's dashers and everything out there, BRs out there. And when you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try it, and you go and throw that in, spin it up, and then tighten it back down, and all of a sudden you can try it on the rifle. It's like,
well, yeah. Hey, Fred Schmittenhammer, your package actually went out today. Thank you. And 6.5 Creedmoor is not really dead, okay? But what I'm saying is if you're going to compete at the top level in PRS competition today, you're not going to see as many shooters shooting the 6.5 Creedmoor. Okay, now 6-dasher wouldn't necessarily be the best hunting cartridge. I'd choose a 6.5 Creedmoor over a 6-dasher. I mean, you're talking about a 105. It depends on what you're doing with it. Yeah, you could absolutely do it, but it's not dead. I just think it's kind of fallen from grace in PRS competition. Guys, the king used to be 308, right? 308 is now in production division. It's in a different division completely when you shoot that caliber, so it's changed. And you've got these ELD bullets, you have all these hybrid bullets, and BB King says, what about 6-ARC? 6-ARC is a good option. I don't know who might be making that, but either way, the specs on the Accuracy Internationals, that's something you could check with your gunsmith, and they could send you a pre-fit in it without any problem. Now, we also have Charles Tiffy that's commenting on Fred's comment, and he said, no, it's more power now with hunters than ever. In the match setting, yes, pretty much. So he's just solidifying what I just said and backing me up on that. Thanks, Charles. And he is a wealth of knowledge, does a lot of competition. All right, so funny fact says a lot. I've shot a lot of guns and know a little bit, but y'all are speaking Chinese to me. If you're not in the world of basically PRS or long range shooting and NRL, then this would seem like a foreign language. And I do understand that. This isn't a Ruger American, even though those are very capable. The game's changed where this is when I was doing all of these ruck matches covering, 30 miles with a 50-pound pack. It's got a folding stock. This one doesn't have a folding stock. So the ATS from the factory does not come with a folding stock. Okay. They already have the folding stock available. It will also not come with that red bridge that you see on top of it. Do you have a pointer in here?
Yeah, right there. Okay.
So that red bridge that you see right there, guys, that is a half bridge. They offer a half bridge and a full bridge. Those will be out soon after the release of the rifle itself. They are going to offer it in this red. They'll also offer it in blue, as well as flat dark earth, black, and I think green. Okay. So that's what the initial offering is going to be on those. They are also going to be releasing it in a left-handed version. Now let's get on to some key points.
Later.
Things that are really going to make this an attractive PRS style rifle. All right, so we're going to move forwards to the grip. Right now you see a slightly canted grip, and what they're going to do is that right there is AR-15 compatible. So you can actually throw a straight AR-15 style grip on it.
Yeah, which is nice.
It makes it nice because if you don't want that sweep, you can go more vertical. You'll also notice that area above the trigger is kind of flat and clear. So that way, if you're using a full right side or a full left side and not wrapping your thumb around, it gives you a place just to put your hand. There's already companies that are making thumb purchases for these things. I've already seen those. So guys are already starting to get ahead of the curve on that. What you're seeing on the side is not key mod. Okay. I know you guys are saying, man, key mod is so old school. It's not key mod at all. It's called key slot. And key slot was invented by Accuracy International way before key mod came out. It is not the same system. It has some really unique things. It has a higher pullout strength because you got to remember the military background, you're putting on night vision thermals, all of that other stuff. And so the system, and I'm going to show you that up close, looks really good. Which one?
This one's a good question.
Okay, so let me stop for just a moment and answer Taylor Martin's question. Do you see PRS competitions driving ammo life? As in, if 6.5 Creedmoor isn't the go-to PRS cartridge and is still being relatively new, does that affect its life cycle across the entire gun world? I don't believe so. I think it helps because you still have to supply all the PRS competitors. It's also going to help because manufacturers are going to try to make their own calibers. You're starting to see all of these, like even Vortex just came out with a new caliber recently. It's something along the lines of like the 6.5 PRC. Do you remember the name of that one? I'm sure one of you guys can comment on that.
No, but 6.5, the mass is there, the speed's there for still a great hunting cartridge.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't see that going away.
Yeah, I don't see it going away. Ray, what load did you use on your last match, and did you run a high load? Gigabytes, I actually did. I try not to give load data out, especially on a live chat, but I was using 115 DTACs in the 6 Creedmoor, and I was using H4350, and the powder range was somewhere around, it was up there. It was above 41 and below 45. The reason I have to be careful with that is because what I've noticed is I don't see pressure signs as quickly in the AIs. Now, do not take this for gospel, but in my experience with this rifle, I can run much higher loads than you can in the same caliber.
Correct.
We've seen it time and time again. Through a lot of AI shooters, like, oh yeah, that's a great load. I was like, guys, don't put that in your rifle. That's going to be a problem. You're going to have pop primers.
And we're still looking at the same degree AI throw as far as 60 degree.
Yeah. So Tim Davis, this does, all the Accuracy Internationals have a 60-degree throw with a 6-lug bolt design. 6-lug bolt design. Which is really cool looking, actually. It is a little harder on the lift, okay, because it is such a short throw on that 60. But when it's empty and you're starting to chamber a new one, getting it started is a little more initial force required than, let's say, a 90 degree. But once you get used to it, it's extremely fast, very, very quick. All right. So Charles says most PRS chambering out there is still a Wildcat, the 6mm BRA and the 6 Dasher. Nobody offers factory ammo for them. Someone told me that there's somebody loading 6 Dasher now. I do remember that, Charles. Ray, what type of optics are you guys using with those rifles? Okay, so I don't have any option on this one right here because you guys know that I'm running the Burris XTR3 now. I'm also one of the ambassadors for Burris, be shooting with them. But these don't have Burris's on them, okay? And the reason is my Burris's are on other rifles right now, and that has a Night Force ATACR. And then that one has a Night Force that was provided by Accuracy International, so I'm not messing with that rifle. I did add quite a few things, though. The Dominus, the Thunder Beast Dominus suppressor, I did put that on there. This was a brand. Thanks, Taylor. I appreciate it. It does have a Thunder Beast bipod that I put on there. I also added a 0 MOA mount on there. That is an F3R machine. Big shout out to those guys. I put that on there and I just needed something to get it 0. Believe it or not, it only has a 4-16. That'll be plenty enough for what I'm going to try to do. All right. So yeah, it won't be in any box stores. That's correct, Charles Tiffy. You're not going to go and find 6 Dasher ammo on any shelf anywhere.
Looks like Luke ordered one.
All right.
It is in sand.
All right. So Luke ordered one. He got it in sand. Congratulations on ordering that. I appreciate it. Looking like a silver fox, Goldie oldies. Yeah, I'm getting old. So let's talk about what really makes this different than other rifles. And we will get into very big detail into this. One of the biggest things about the ATX is they wanted to drop the action in the barrel lower into the chassis. So if you measure from the bottom of the chassis itself, okay, to the center line of the barrel, guys, that's only 1 1/4 inches. So if you put, let's say, Rick's MDT with his 6 Creedmoor as well, is that a Curtis action? I believe it is.
Yeah, it's an action.
If you put it on a table, you know what? Do you have a tape measure where you can actually measure it? It's going to be about 1.5 inches or so. And when you start to put that bore line that high up, because remember in PRS, you're going on a barricade on top of some type of shooting bag, what you're going to do is you're going to get more of a cantilever effect because you're putting it up higher. This gets it lower. It also enables you to put a lower ring set on there or a lower mount for your scope. You're getting everything much lower. Now, they had to accommodate for that by making the cheek riser go extremely low. I will tell you, I've got one of these on order. I went with the FDE, and one of the first things I'm going to do is get the folder assembly to make this a folder, because I'm not going to take that cheek riser off every time I want to pull my bolt. I'm going to show you guys the bolt up close, tell you some things about it. Rick is using a plastic T-square to measure the height. So
that's right at 1.5.
Yeah, so he's at 1.5 with his full-on custom build, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just sits much higher than the 8. You know what? I'll tell you what. What we're going to do is I'm going to move the camera up for just a second. Bear with me. As soon as I move this camera up, we're going to put the MDT ACC chassis in this position here.
Just walk over there and you can keep talking.
Well, you don't want to show them all that. Just show it and see them.
Here we go.
All right, guys, just bear with us for just a second. We'll leave that one there. Wait. And good. All right, so you got the Magic Skittles rifle right here. All right. Now, this is actually a really nice build. This is one of Rick's builds. It's a 6 Creedmoor. And does it have a Douglas hand select in it? I believe it does. Yeah, and it's, if you look at this height right in here, this is what we're talking about. That height, and look at it over on the AI, it's much lower, okay? So, you know, as they say, recoil is always going to try to find the path of least resistance. And as you put it up higher, and, you know, you had a good question about just changing the buttstock.
Mm-hmm.
What ends up happening, let me change the light on this. Give me just a minute.
Yeah, get the Skittles show.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so, and he did that because he said his rifle in the sea of rifles blended in with everything. So he wanted something that was kind of unique.
When you went to a match, there was that Hornady match. There was hundreds in a row.
Yep.
Makes it easy to find.
So, guys, are you already starting to see the difference? Look at the height right here, just in the rail, as opposed to that one over there with the scope mount on it. Everything's sitting much lower in the actual chassis itself. They've all already done the weight sets. They do have provisions to do internal weights. You can do 3 internal weights.
You can stack these weights.
Yep, these are stackable. So, guys, these weights that you see on the side, if you can you do your finger again, just don't touch. All right. So those weights right there, guys, you can not only just put them on, you can also put them on and raise them, or you can put them to a low position. So if you wanted it to get on the same line as the bore itself, all you have to do is invert it, lift it up at an angle. And
or you can bring them where they're actually flat with the ARCA.
Yep.
And now you have almost a plate.
Okay. So once again, I've got to turn the camera up for just a second. I want you guys to see this. Turn it up.
Look at that ceiling. It hasn't been painted yet. It's a beautiful ceiling.
Okay, guys, what I've done is on this rifle right here, I've rotated it. Do you see the weights? If you'll point to the bottom side of those weights, right there. Not only does it increase the width, but you can also stack them on top of those. So let me grab an example of that so I can show you guys, and I won't need to hold the camera for that. So hold me for just a second if you'll talk to them.
All right. Let's see here. Yep, Charles, that Skittles chassis still needs it. And that's something I'm looking at getting, actually. A new barrel spun up for it.
All right, guys. So these are the weights. These weights are made by Wind Tactical for the ATX. And you'll be able to see what the heck is that?
You hit the remote.
You'll be able to see everything up close. I don't want to drop this on his computer. Hold on, he's got to get this off the screen. Okay. This right here is the actual weight itself. Okay. Might be a little more light. That's good. And on the bottom here, you're going to see what that feature looks like for the key slot. Okay. You'll also notice that you have 2 more nubs right in here. What this enables you to do is actually stack the weights double like this. So now this is attached in a double configuration. And if you imagine putting it on that rail system right here, we can go really, really wide. So if you're needing a stable base to go on, let's say, a Game Changer or anything like that, or your fortune cookie, now you're going to have a lot more width to it. And this is nothing new. There's other companies that are doing wider weight systems. You've got the same thing on the MPA coming.
Correct.
Yeah, the other thing that's nice about this is once you stack them, if I just want to remove the whole system, I don't have to take this plate off and then take this plate off. I can actually go through the whole length of this, turn it like twice, and just take it off, and it comes right off. So that's a really cool setup, and what we'll do is I'll show you this right here.
Jim Dean saying that Prime Ammo is having a factory load for the 6 GT.
And there's what it looks like on that key slot. Just like that. All right, so we mentioned they are going to have a left-handed version in the future. You can mount your scopes lower. Let's talk about. We did talk about. Okay, so you do have 20 minutes of angle built in. That's what comes from the factory is 20 minutes of angle. They will offer, I think, a 30, if I'm not mistaken. And on the bridge itself, the bridge is actually coplanar. So if you put something forward of the scope, let's say thermals or something like that, it will still have the 20 minutes of angle. Remember, it's only going to be offered in 6.5 Creedmoor. So if you're planning on getting one or getting one on pre-order, I would recommend going ahead and trying to source a barrel in the caliber that you were planning on shooting it in. Now, with that being said, remember, we have the AW mags here. If you're planning on shooting a shorter style cartridge, like a 6BR or 6GT or 6 Dasher, you're going to need a spacer kit. You have 2 options, okay? For those that haven't watched it before on the AW, what you have to do is you cannot take the base plate off, okay? That's actually one solid piece that's just been tacked on here. You're actually going to push the follower down, and then you have to rotate, and then the spring will come out. If you buy the upgrade or upfit kits from, I think it's MPA, you're going to have to take and modify your existing follower, and they have a Delrin spacer that goes in there. There's a better way. I need to turn it up for just a second.
Turn it up.
The camera.
Okay.
Actually, real good. It's not here. All right. Back down. So, guys, this is from HRD Gear. This is what I'm going to recommend highly. This has a spacer in the back, but it comes with the follower and spring. I've been running this on the 6-dasher barrel, and this functions flawlessly. And I still have the original follower, so I didn't destroy this when I need to go back to 6 Creedmoor or 6.5 Creedmoor. I would highly recommend you do that rather than destroying the follower, because these are actually riveted in. Okay, you're not going to be able to unscrew it. You could drill it out and then re-rivet it, but I don't like messing with my factory followers. They're very proud of these magazines, as most companies are. So just be aware of that. HRD Gear. Mile High actually carries those as well. So we do have the fast change barrel, the trigger. Let's talk about it. This does ship with a competition trigger. I don't have a competition trigger in the AX, the tan one that was up here a minute ago. So the competition trigger is going to ship with the heavy spring, which will allow you to go from 2.5 pounds, or from 1.5 pounds to 2.5 pounds. It's adjustable, and it's a 2-stage trigger. It does have a curved trigger, as you can see up there, but what you can do is buy the straight or flat face trigger. Those are already available. They run about $56, and you're basically replacing the insert that's on there to go from curved to flat. But it does come with the light spring. The light spring is going to allow you to go from 12 ounces to 1.5 pounds. So you guys that like to run 8-ounce triggers, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to adjust down that low. You know, until I started doing this PRS game, I've never thought of centerfire rifles being safe below like 2 pounds. That was a working number for us, was 2 pounds. Yeah, anything below that was different. This is competition. It's shooting competition. But I really wonder how many of these 8 and 10-ounce triggers can actually survive a drop test, you know, and not fire. I think you'd be amazed. Not naysaying it. I'm just saying they have become very, very light. We did mention that it's a 60 degree bolt with 6 lugs. Let me grab something. I want to show you guys. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I didn't know this until you said that it was 6 lugs. That's pretty cool.
All right, so let me get a little bit of light in here. All right, so guys, this is the bolt mechanism on it, okay? If you've ever taken apart your bolt on a Remington 700 or anything, or you had the tools, you knew you had to play around with it a lot. All you have to do is put this in your action, put it in the middle setting, and then there's one little nub here. I want you to watch this. I've done nothing funky. I'm just going to put my finger up here, rotate it, and there it is. There's your firing pin. Wow. Your spring. You can do all your cleaning internally, your maintenance, and then when you want to put it back together, it just rotates in, click, done. It's that quick. These bolt knobs, like the 8-ball, is extremely fast. They are fast.
I like this.
And
actually,
what you are getting with the ATX is the exact same action chassis bolt, or actually the same action and bolt as you get in the AX. It's the same. All right, let's see here. They're only going to be offering short action initially. Your Glock 19 has a 4-ounce trigger. Is that even possible? That's insane. How do you do a 4-ounce trigger? Does it even have a spring in it?
I don't know.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Could be.
I bet you it shoots nicely, though.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm just going over a couple notes and some notes that I made with it. The barrel itself on this weighs 5 pounds. It is a heavier contour on the ATX. So it's 5.5 pounds or so, 5.4. But remember, you could always go with a proof or something like that to lose some weight, or you could put a heavier barrel in if you wanted to. These rifles will be made in not only England, but also in the United States. I don't know how they're going to know who is whose. I know this is a made in England rifle because it's stamped on the side.
I asked you that today.
Yeah. The other thing is Rick got a chance to play around with this, and from the factory without any weights, how did it balance?
It balanced perfect, actually.
Yeah. So without any weights, guys, we threw it on a rail and it was just perfect. It just sat up there. And, you know, having the stop there up against the mag well, it does have a cutout on the left side. You guys didn't get to see that. It just facilitates being able to do a mag change.
Right here, you can see the edge of that mag well.
There's no side to it.
Yeah, so you can actually put the mag in from the side. Just it's a little.
Yeah, if you're a right-handed shooter and you're prone and you're low to the ground, you can drop the mag and put another one in without having to jack the back of the rifle up to get a magazine in it. Let's see here. AI UK site not even showing this ATX. English Rifleman. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is latest, greatest stuff. This is actually a pre-production rifle, but they are coming. They are taking deposits on them already. And like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Now, I'm going to show you a target. I did have a chance just to zero shoot it today with a cold bore. Let me see if I can grab it.
Yeah, I think it's, there it is. Welcome, Vanessa.
Now, this isn't earth-shattering or groundbreaking or anything like that, but you have to remember, we threw the scope on, got everything right. I shot around, saw where it was at, and I just made the correction from the reticle, and that was it. The rifle had cooled off, so we have cold bore in here. It's 5 shots. That's cold bore and 4 shots in the clover, okay? So the first one actually center punched at 12 o'clock by itself, and then the other 4 are in the same hole. That was shooting 147 grain Hornady ELD match. It's all I had in 6.5 because I always hand load. So I didn't have any factory ammunition other than those few rounds. And I was like, well, this is going to be a quick test. I'm not so much concerned about the cold bore because we did have the Dominus SR can on there. That was actually the first shots out of the Dominus SR.
Mac Evans says, but how does the chassis handle in a Voodoo? Well, with that new Remington 700 style action coming out, or
yeah, so they're actually going, AI has always offered their chassis for the Remington 700 platform. Actually, the new United States Marine Corps offering for the sniper rifle will be a Remington 700 action, style to action, with the new Accuracy International chassis. So they will be offering that. Price point on it is $4,990. How much do you think a 16-inch proof research carbon fiber barrel would save me in weight versus my AI 22-inch bull barrel? Quite a bit. Probably, and this is just off the top of my head, you'll probably say saving 2.5 to 3 pounds. 2.5 to 3 pounds. Maybe more because you're going from 22 to a 16, but 16 might be what you want. I don't know. Apparently, you've done some thought on it, and I don't even know if they're going to offer it, depending on the caliber.
Velocity, though.
Yeah, you're going to lose a lot of velocity, but you'll have to check and see if Proof is actually going to make one in carbon 16. I know sometimes when you get into these shorter barrels, sometimes they won't do it because it's not all carbon. It still has the steel underneath.
Yeah.
They are also going to be coming out with a 223 bolt face, as well as the 6.5 PRC bolt face. Those are coming. All right.
So
It's Chase says he has a 5 to 25 Strike Eagle laying around. Will it be okay for NRL 22? Absolutely. I'm worried about the 19 mil adjustment with the zero stop. You should be fine. Just make sure you get enough elevation. I mean, if you're shooting NRL 22, they're not shooting past 100, I think. If you're going to do NRL 22X, you're going to be shooting a lot further, and you're going to want 30, 40 minutes at minimum.
Preferred barrel blank makes the barrels.
Let's see. Who?
Tony Garner on the bottom comment. It's just talking about preferred barrel blanks.
Okay. Fitz Airfit. Do you have a lower that is compatible with the UPR 15? No. Your pal Matt. Rifle has perfect balance. Okay, so guys, if you see your pal Matt down at the bottom there, he was actually at the house today. He had a chance to handle it and play around with it. And guys, it is so balanced. It's crazy. I've never had a precision rifle just throw it on a rail and it's balanced. And then once I added the weight, that made it even more stable. We were on the barricades today. I didn't have any more ammunition for it, but we just put it on the barricade and boom, there it was. I even took the bipod off and it was still able to balance just by pushing forwards on a little bit. Yep. Cowboy B says, okay, Dark Earth on the way. That's what I've got coming. I'm looking forward to it. Do you like the new Accuracy over a complete custom? Nancy Meek, I personally do. After looking at what this rifle costs, $4,900, I'm not going to be far away from that with a custom gun. And this already has everything I would be looking for in a custom. The only thing it wouldn't have, and this is I always speak the truth, is the ability to go with like a 29-inch barrel unless I get someone other than, let's say, Proof to spin me one up. And they're not going to do one-offs like that. So you'd have to have somebody, I know I could get Eagle Eye out. He's Desert Precision Gun Works. He'd probably be able to do that for me. But if I wanted something that was a straight taper, 28, he could probably do it.
Spin one up.
Yeah.
The biggest bonus to that rifle for me, besides them going to that new chassis, is just the ability to swap out a barrel instantly. What suppressor is that, Ray?
That is the new Thunder Beast Dominus SR. So the rifle actually shipped to me with an SR mount.
Hey, Florida Bearded Man.
And Accuracy International Shooting Team already uses Thunder Beast suppressors, just like I always did. And they're great. Yeah, they are one of the best ones out there. Like I said, the Maverick definitely helps mitigate a little bit of the recoil. You're not going to get as much sound reduction in the shorter configuration, like what I showed you guys a minute ago, but it is configurable.
Christopher Burrows, he wants the second focal plane. Can we talk you into first focal plane?
Yeah, Chris Burrows also asking about the Mark V or the Night Force NX8 second focal. The NX8 is not a bad scope. I like Night Force, but that Leupold Mark V is a hard one to beat. It really is. That is a great, great scope. How much is the folder conversion kit? It's basically just a hinge that is going to, we can't touch it, but yeah, right where he's pointing, it just unscrews out of that and it just adds a hinge. I don't know the price point on it. There's also, you can change out the rear stock. This is a tool. You must have tools to adjust the cheek riser and all that on the new AXSR. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this so you guys can see a little closer. Let me tilt the camera up. Just bear with me for just a second.
This. No, don't do the road.
Yeah, you do that.
Commercial.
You could have had some more information on that whiteboard.
I grabbed it from the last chat. All right.
Oh, just a second, guys.
I appreciate you guys all showing up. We got Abigail out there, Charles Tiffy. Big Country. I'm not sure if I saw the email or not. I'll have to go back and look at it. To a refugee, welcome to the show. It's nice seeing you out there again. Florida Bearded Fisherman.
Okay, just watch the middle chair.
Okay.
And we should be good.
And action.
Okay, so now it's a little closer. Now you're seeing the other side. This way you can actually see the cutout right here on the side. That's nothing new. You've got Christensen that already does something like that, but you can kind of see it in its full glory. It does have the Thunder Beast bipod on there, Area 419 Arca Swiss attachment for the Thunder Beast. And that's pretty much it.
How much is the folder conversion? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be crazy expensive. If I had to guess, 100-ish something.
I think you are going to gain a little bit in the length of pull just because they have to put
just slightly.
Yeah, they have to put that piece in there. But
yeah, it does have flush cups here as well as here. And I was trying to think of what else I could show you guys off camera.
Don't get too crazy.
Because if I touch that thing, they're going to kill this.
Trust me.
$200 for the hinge. Sniper's Hide with Mile High did a full breakdown. Yeah, I never heard the price on that. I know when Frank and Scott and all those guys and the team guys did that, I didn't know what they were saying on the price of the hinge. I'll definitely be getting one of those.
Great question by Lucky Duck. Says, got a Thunder Beast cert, needs to use it up. Which do you prefer, the Dominus or the Ultra?
Okay, great question, Lucky Duck. Just like Rick said. So I have all of the Ultras, Ultra 5s, 7s, 9s, and that's what I'd always run. The difference between the Dominus is it's a little fatter in diameter, and it does have a locking collar right there. That is a locking collar. So once you screw it on, you just rotate it, kind of like a Surefire. I'm not saying it's a Surefire. I'm just saying you rotate it, and it keeps it from walking itself off. There have been some matches that I've shot in where I've noticed my Thunder Beast came loose with the older conical system. And so the Dominus adjusts for that. Now, the downside of this, I think the Dominus, the MSRP is about $15.95. You can only get it in 30 cal. It is rated for full auto 5.56. It actually is full titanium. It's not steel. And it did make it through like 10 iterations of the SOCOM testing. So it'll handle 5.56 full auto. It'll handle all your 30 cals and, of course, your 6.5s and 6 millimeters.
Great comment, Florida bearded woodworker. It's just an
what I
expensive
missed.
sport.
Does anyone else hear sucking sound in their wallet when I join these chats?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an expensive
unfortunately,
rabbit hole.
yes. Unfortunately, yes. So I did want to. I don't know how many new subscribers are on the channel, because I don't do that many live chats. But I did want to show everybody this because this is kind of how the idea of the Bad MF came up. If you were lucky enough to get one of these when I offered these for sale, consider yourself lucky because they won't be around for a while. There was a large contract that was just landed, and unfortunately, that means we can't send them out because they're making these other ones. It was a lot of these things. And so we were really happy about that, but unfortunately for the people that didn't get on it, they couldn't. So this was called the Bad MF, the Bullet and Data Management folder. This is usually attached to a pack because remember, my background is snipercraft stuff, not PRS stuff, but this works for that. I'm the world's worst when it comes to organization in a pack. We've all done it. You're in a hurry, you throw stuff in a pack, and now all of a sudden you got 15 rounds at the bottom of your pack. Mm-hmm. You can't find it. So 22 ammo holders, Makev, they are coming. Those will still be available. Everything will be available except the bag. So for those of you that bought the bag, it's still supported. I will have everything. I actually have boatloads of the AICS mag holders now, so I'll be able to show you those. So these are just G-code holders that I put on the front on the Molly. This is 100% made in the USA, mil-spec, very compliant. So I have these, the pen holders now that you can add wherever. And I'm seeing these in a lot of the matches now, but this is the Kestrel pouch. This is lined with Tegris and impact resistant. And of course, you can see I've got some of the Sharpie pens here. But let me show you how I've got this set up. When you open this up, all right, so this would be more for a ruck match, blind stage match, not PRS. So I've got data cards. You might have to help me with this, Rick. All right, and then when you open that one, you're going to see, whoa, more data cards. And you lift this up. I've got the runners in here. These are 6mm Creedmoor. What was in there before we opened it upside down like this was the data book like this. And so that actually slides into that pocket. But when it was upside down, you guys saw that come out. There's the AICS magazine holders. This is not AICS. It will work for AICS, but these are the AW mags. These are the ones for that rifle there. But yeah, that's a fully modular system. So just wanted you guys to see that. The website, you can't order any, but if you had one and needed accessories, it is xringcustoms.com. What happened to all the messages?
No, we're good. I had to delete those.
Uh-oh. Is it getting an NSN? No, I thought about that, and we talked about, I don't know how the whole NSN process works, but this is going to take a while to fulfill. To be clear on it, it was 500 units, and the problem is the 500 units, I had to make a slight modification on some Velcro locations, and so it won't be the same bag. So I can't just be like, I need those 10 to sell, because that order needs to get fulfilled first for this contract. So what did some people get in here?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Damaging thread, switching barrels out, dust, dirt, dinging. No, Skull, it doesn't work like that. I actually have the barrel sitting right here, and I can show you this up close because this is not a firearm, but that is the M27 tenon. So as long as you take like a microfiber cloth, because I've done this in the field a ton of times, and you just take it and you just hit it with a t-shirt or something like that. And guys, that little 4mm, it's a little 4mm bolt. That's all it is. When you unscrew that, the quick lock is actually a clamp system that goes around this tenon here. Once it's locked, it is locked.
The hardest part's just unscrewing the barrel.
Correct. And it's just hand tight. You don't use a wrench or anything else. Yeah, you guys also know that a big part of the channel is the Borka kit. Actually, I need to hide that. The Borka kit, shooterstools.com. If you're ever looking for one of these, you can always drop me an email. I hope save you a little bit of money on that. But on this one, the Borka kit, this is the RH kit. Ironically, I met John McQuay from 8541 Tactical. I met him at the show, and we were actually talking about the kit. But my kit actually, because I shoot AI so much, comes with the barrel wrench for the flats. It's just something that works well for the kit. So there it is. Never go anywhere without it.
No, that is definitely always coming to the range.
Conservative Sniper Hunter, it ships with 8 of the 15 round holders, so it will hold 120 rounds of large center fire. I do have the rimfire pouches that will be coming now. They're actually due this week, and we made some modifications so you couldn't lose them. And then you don't have to run 120 in there if you don't want, because if your mags are full, yeah, it's the option.
And if you're doing a two-day match, you don't need to have the whole thing filled up and less stuff to carry around. Yeah,
Cowboy B, nothing wrong with fixed sticks at all. Those are good tools.
I love that.
I don't think you can compare them to this though. Rifle bags or belts up next. The belts are almost done.
Fred, I use that kit on the Voodoo on every rifle. It's just everything's either Torx heads or whatever. So
yeah, and then the bag. I actually have a bag with me. You guys saw one of it, but I want you guys to see this.
And here it comes.
This is still the prototype, but this actually, the way I designed it, fits a scoped rifle perfectly.
Look, YouTube.
Guys, it's like I still have room with the suppressor on there. I still have about 2 inches on each end, and so it's heavily padded.
Wrong to say it would be more accurate shooting precision, just not suppressed.
The belt will be this. I've been wearing this since I showed you the first one. They've been working on the stretching, but this right here, if I pull it really hard, it stretches in the middle. So if you're carrying concealed like appendix or 4 o'clock, for us, when you bend over, your gut kind of gets in the way a little bit. It helps because it stretches a little bit.
Liking the latest chassis. Conservative Sniper, I'm actually liking it. I'm digging it. I put the 20-inch Voodoo in there, and I plan on shooting that as my NRL X rifle.
Yeah.
I got 50 MOAs in basically for the scope, so it seems to be working out well.
Okay, so M. Bailey, I don't avoid any questions ever. You're asking me MPA chassis or ACC chassis. I have quite a few of the ACC chassis. Rick has about all the MPA chassis, the Matrix, the BA hybrid.
Yep.
I'm going to say MPA, hands down, of those two. There's nothing wrong with the ACC, but being around machining stuff all of the time, you cannot compare the machining quality between an MDT versus an MPA or an XLR. Okay, I know XLR wasn't in there, but I'm all about machining quality and thickness and everything else. I don't want something that's chintzy. Stratos says he got his kit today. Thanks for the help. No problem. My pleasure. There was, give me just a second. I missed a comment that was up here just a little bit.
The old farts, he says. Plenty of people.
Will you share your final thoughts on whether you would choose the ATX or AX? I will. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of shooting with this one. Actually, I'll compare them side by side, but it just depends on what you're doing with it. Yeah, this wouldn't be a rifle. This right here, if I was shooting a PRS match, I'm going to take this rifle hands down. If I'm going to shoot a ruck match, I'm probably going to take this rifle hands down if it's got the hinge mechanism and all that, because I'm going to shave a lot of weight. In a ruck style match, where I'm covering a ton of miles over a few days, when we did the Burris, when it was called it was the Bushnell. The Bushnell Elite Sniper match was last year at Coleman's Creek. They did it again this year, but I didn't sign up for it. But Bryson was a new shooter, had never even shot past 100 yards a month prior to that. We ended up taking 3rd place in the trooper division, which was all rucking and everything else. The only thing we didn't do was camp. I would say I'd take this one. I actually shot the AX in that match, and it did really, really well. But I can shave a lot of weight, use this one. I don't need military grade for that. This is perfect. I'm going to have more configurability, less weight. Yeah, the ATX. I'm really excited about it.
I don't see the benefit of having to carry that.
And I was not paid by Accuracy International to talk about this or anything else. They knew that I shot AI, and I guess they know a little bit about my background and everything. And so basically we spoke, and they said, we'll send you this for a little while to shoot, but we've got to have it back here shortly. They already knew I had one of these on order, but a big shout out to those guys. I'm excited they recognize such a small channel.
You were lucky to get it.
All right, what else? What's the muzzle thread on the AX? It's 5/8/24, nothing funky, no 18s or anything like that. Yeah, 5/8/24. No 18 by 1.5. It is 5/8/24 for sure. Travis says, do Remex and Voodoo actions tend to have feeding issues? Travis, yes and no, okay? I've heard some guys say horror stories about the Remexes, but there's some guys on the channel tonight that have the Remexes said theirs feed like butter. My Voodoo used to give me a problem, and someone told me the trick, and it's pretty simple. Put your magazine in first, torque it like you're going to shoot it up against a barricade, then tighten the action screws. That solved all of my issues. I have no more feed issues any longer. If you just don't put the magazine in and you just tighten it in and it's not right, your angle's going to be off and you might have some issues. Voodoo also did a video on that, on how to solve those issues. Or get an MPA where you got the adjustable mag release.
That is amazing.
That helps a lot.
That after shooting the other chassis and going, man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I actually ordered one for the hybrid.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
so I didn't have to worry about it.
How is the BMW? Great. I guess actually I'm having some work done on it right now. And not that it was an issue. I just trying to fix a couple things. When you say torque it, you mean push the mag from the front like it's being ran into a barricade?
Correct.
That's what I did,
Yes.
Chase. What I did was I did was had the screws started, and then basically it's laying on the ground. I torqued it like I was pushing on a barricade, and then I torqued the screws, and that's it. Some guys are using 55 pounds. Some guys are using 44-inch pounds, 45-inch pounds to about 65-inch pounds. It's up to you. I think 55 is good enough, but once I did that, they drop free, no issues. Now, you will have size issues in certain chassis with the metal mags. Some of them happen to be a little wider.
Yeah. And then you need to also make sure that you load your magazine correctly.
Yeah. John Smith says, what situations would you pick the AX over the new one? If it was a true, let's say, work/combat situation, I would say I would go with the other one. Only because I don't have some of these screws to lose. I don't need these weight systems. I would want something a little more robust, but that's not necessary for what we're doing. These can handle plenty of abuse and get beat up, but the AX I think they've discontinued the AX now, and I think it's the AXSR, a true sniper rifle. It's a true work gun. All right.
Well, and that was always the things when you first introduced me to Accuracy International, your rifle.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I really wish I could change the grip, and a couple little tweaks.
Correct.
Is what I would make to the thing.
Yeah.
Well, now you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw whatever grip you want on there.
Guys, this is a testament to a large company that really their market is police and military. That's what they do, but they're willing to grow and see how times are changing. Otherwise, they'll get left behind, because if you do lose military contracts, you're losing money. But it was really cool to see them come up with something like this to be able to use. I mean, out of the box, ready to go, PRS competition.
Hey,
long range
scope
shooting.
on it, done.
Yeah, good to go. We appreciate it, Tony. Thank you for watching. Dang, 196 folks in here. Dang, big shout out to all you guys.
Nice.
Also, I'm getting ready to turn 60,000 subs. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys know every 10,000 subs, I give away a Microtech knife. So the next one that will be up for giveaway probably next weekend. I think it'll probably hit that number within the next week or so. Just stay tuned for a live chat, and what we'll do is we will just randomly pick someone's comment, and someone will win a free Microtech LUDT. Probably, you know what? It might be an LUDT with the X-Ring custom, with the X-Ring logo, or it will be a SOCOM Elite Auto. So try to join in. Just pay attention to that announcement because I do get those.
Awesome.
Yeah. What makes the Bighorns, and guys are talking about the Bighorn TL3 action, such a bang for the buck is how easy it is to go from 223 to a mag bolt face. That's exactly right. So I do have a TL3. Matt has some TL3 actions as well, but with that interchangeable bolt face, which is similar to a Savage, all you have to do is order that and it goes straight in. Yeah, we won't go off of this comment, Tyler Orth. It'll be the next time.
Yeah. Having a voodoo on an MPH.
Yeah, Nigel, that's exactly right. Accuracy International started off with two guys that met at a gun range that started in a shed. Another thing interesting, I don't know if you guys know this, but Thunder Beast kind of started the same way. Zach, Ray, and Sean, they all were shooting at a gun range. They started talking, started off with one overhead mill, and look where they're at today.
Look where they're at now. SF, he has a Voodoo MPA chassis. You'll be fine. I mean, if you're going to run the adjustable mag release, I've noticed it on the two that I have. The higher you run it up, it's a little more difficult to get the mag out. Yeah, but man, I sat there and pushed as hard as I could on the mag and butter.
Yeah.
Just running the rounds.
So Mini X just got hers all done. And if I would have had another MPA chassis laying around or one was available immediately, I appreciate all of you guys that emailed me. I would have probably went with that over the XLR because I had that XLR dedicated to go to another action that I was having built. The MPA BA hybrid, I think, is a great chassis for NRL 22X or PRS rimfire.
Yeah.
If you get the adjustable mag catch, that takes all their issues out. Don't make it too tight. On John Kreiderman's, he actually, if his bolt is closed, he has a hard time seating the magazine. I think it's a little too tight, but that is a great system they've got going on. M. Bailey, I have not tried the new Vortex bipod. It's extremely heavy. It's extremely heavy. We use the really right stuffs. These are the TFCT 27s, I believe. They weigh in a little over 4 pounds. They're great. They might not be quite as stable as, let's say, the Vortex, but if you're doing a ruck match, this is a whole lot easier to carry. Yeah, we shoot matches out west. Tighter. Yeah, it closes up tighter.
Fits in the side of your pack better.
Yeah.
It's not.
Hey, Charles, I did not call Altus on the MPA. I started looking at how much money I was spending, and I'd also bought one of these. So yeah, I was like, all right, that's enough. I'm drowning over here. So difference between the BA and the BA hybrid.
There's not much. The hybrid, I think, is set up for the 22 style stuff. More,
I think it's a little lighter and shorter hand.
Yeah, it's like
arc of Swiss ref.
And then, like the Matrix that I have is designed as a full center fire,
full-blown center
chassis,
fire chassis. Yeah.
What do you think of the new Element scopes?
Okay, so Ryan Berg says, "Are you using a Sky?" Ironically, I have it with me. I do carry the Sky Pod with me, but I have the Sky Double. For those that don't know, let me show you.
Smoky Mountain Boys. I actually have two on order, and I'm a little upset that I haven't gotten any emails. Also upset that when I sent the order in, it said that they were in stock for the. What you looking for?
My Sky Pod. I just had it.
I'm not sure.
All right.
But when I put the order in, it said that the PRS version was in stock and that the two sections wasn't. So I was like, okay, cool. They're going to send me the PRS version, and then later on I'll get the other one. That's a negative. Still waiting. I'm like week 6, I think. So not happy about that. So don't be in a hurry when you order that Sky Bipod from MDT.
So guys, I do need to tell you about this. So I have the SkyPod Double, which is a great, great bipod, but you'll never catch me at a match without this one.
That's called
the Atlas. The BT46, because the Double, you know, a lot of guys are going to say, man, you have so much versatility, but I'm telling you, it's really, really long compared to this, okay? In the stock configuration, that's as short as I can make this SkyPod. So when let's say I'm using it somewhere, these things inadvertently come out all the time. You have this hanging from your rifle. So it's a great bipod, and when you need it, you really, really need it.
But
there are some stages where having something like this is going to be better.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was thinking having them all the way out so I could get it low enough was going to work. The problem is it was so far out that you weren't really, you could push it into the wood to try to load the bipod, and it was actually sliding. So the way the spikes were set up, they weren't, it was actually, the angle was too far, so I really didn't get a chance to bite in like it would.
So people say, well, you can make it really, really low, but look, there's nothing to grab here. It just slides right across wood because you're not getting these points in here. You can change the feet out.
I mean, they're great.
But it, like I said, this has its place, and I carry it. It'll help you with certain positions, but always carry something a little shorter as well.
Yeah.
All right, Ray, are you going to do another run of Microtex with your logo? Yeah, 6 rudders. I put in that order 3 weeks ago. The next ones that come out will be the SOCOM Elite Autos. SOCOM Elite Autos, I have 10 on order. As soon as they get done with lasering, I'll offer some up.
Long versus, yeah, let's hear here.
Tyrant Worm. I'll put it out as a video. It's out there now. The AI guys do not know that I'm putting this out. Hopefully I haven't said anything out of the way and everything's been correct on that, because the plan is for me to actually take that out to the range. And for those of you that asked, okay, you guys know that I do teach a long range class maybe twice a year. I don't do it that often. I am working with the guys at the Sawmill Tactical Training Complex in Lawrence, South Carolina. We're trying to get everything set up now, but the way it looks is they're going to allow me to hold a few classes there this year. It's a 1,400 meter range. They have on-site lodging, and we would probably have to do it on a Friday or a Thursday, or maybe we could do a Thursday, Friday. So that's what we're looking at. I'm still going to keep it relatively inexpensive, just because I understand about the ammunition and all that, but it's a tough range to shoot at. I used to shoot there a lot, and we did get the okay on the range there, Charles.
Yeah, 1,400 meters, and then there's no tunnel, so you
it's the ability. Yeah, you're over the treetop,
full
so the
value,
wind is just crazy,
and it makes it more enjoyable. You got to fight against the wind.
It's not as long as an AccuTac. Let's see. Yep. So it's Chase says he knows a few of the MDT sponsored shooters who carry an Atlas for the exact same reason. Yeah. Good tool to have, but definitely carry a shorter one with you. All right. I appreciate it, Tyrant. Thank you. All right, guys. So 185 folks. We've been on here with an hour and 12 minutes. Appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to share it with us. 2 knuckleheads. We had a great time with you guys, trying to answer all of your questions. So look forward to putting some videos out with some real range time reviews on this Accuracy International ATX. Yeah, Rick, thanks for allowing me to use the studio.
Anytime, man.
Anything you want to say before we cut out?
No, you guys stay safe. Have a great night, and look forward to the new review of this rifle right here.
Joaquin, if you're on here, thank you very much. Emailed some pics over to me about tripod minute sketchboard. Love it. All right, awesome. Guys, take care. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Get over to Is Your 6 covered?
That too.